Welcome, fellow bookworms, to TBR's Den. My name is Whitney, and today we have round 14 of Once Upon a TBR Honey Jar, which is pulling my prompts for February of 2024. And yeah, I'm really excited to play again. I really like the changes I made for this year so far. I've only read one book for January. Like I said, in the past, I always film these videos about a month early. So I've only read one book for January, but I feel good, especially because I read 27 books in December, which was a crazy amount. So I read so many in December, so I feel really good about my stack for January, even though there are some chunky books in there. Or not, yeah, January. Sorry, I'm getting myself all confused. Before we get into the gameplay, though, let me grab stuff here. So we do have some prompts that need to be put back, and I did earn a reward for December rather, because I finished my whole TBR. So this one will just go in here, and I can use it at any point in time to skip a honey jar prompt if I so choose. So as far as what's going to be going back in, all my bookworms generally go back in. I don't have any that I didn't get read that need to go back in, so that's great. So these are all ones that just go back in automatically. So we have same book as Last Person. We have TBR, which is an ABC author challenge. We have favorite or random color. Sorry, the cat's trying to be snotty here. And lastly, we have a book talk pick. So that will also be going back in the honey jar. We also have my Genre-a-thon pick before we get into the gameplay. And so just like last year, February is the language of love, to read a poetry book. And for that one, I'm going with Bittersweet by, I think it's Vince Kelly. And so yeah, this is my pick. I'm not a big poetry reader, so this is definitely outside of my comfort zone. And there's just a bunch of poems. Like, they're really short, none of them are super long or anything like that. And I'm really looking forward to seeing what I think about this one. I have some others that I could have pulled, but they're children's poem books, which are definitely not as outside of my comfort zone as like an adult poetry book. So we'll see how I get along with that. That goes on. It does not become part of my game or anything like that. I of course have several books that I would like to get on this TBR. I'm doing my ABC title challenge this year. So I have 3 more books I need to get on for that. I'm reading the Outlander series and the Inheritance Cycle series this year, so those would like to get on, and then some other series that I'm continuing. I do, or most likely will have 2 rollovers. And those are the books that I've been working on because they're chunky. So first up is Shogun by James Clavell. I read like 21 pages of it in December. And so I'm not sure how much I will get read in January, and I still have about halfway to go. So I definitely I don't foresee me completing this in January, so this one will most likely for sure roll over. And the other one is the Iliad and the Odyssey by Homer. Read like 25 pages in December, and again, not sure how much of this I'm going to get through in January, so this one will also most likely be rolling over. But these 2 are just ones I'm taking my time with, reading a little bit as I can. So not a huge deal, or not ones I'm going to like finish and rush to finish. I mean, I'd like to be finished with both of those by the end of February, but we will see how it goes. Anyway, let me go ahead and set up the game board and get it all situated, and I will be right back. Alright, got it set up. And let's see what we have. So just a reminder, I do have a reward I can use to skip a honey jar prompt if I choose. And if we roll a 1, that is Christopher Robin, which means it is a coming of age or a middle grade and younger. If I roll a 2, that is Pooh, which is a classic or a comfort read. 3 is Piglet, which is an auto by author or a reread. 4 is Rabbit, which is a free choice. We did roll a 1 last month, which is Christopher Robin. So if we roll him again, we have the option to re-roll, but we don't have to. And then as far as the colors go, blue is for sci-fi, yellow is historical, does not need to be fiction, green is fantasy, red is romance, orange is mystery or thriller, purple is any genre, and black, I move forward 3 spaces and use the genre for that color, but I do need to pull 2 honey jar prompts if that is the case. And the only other thing, in case you were watching last year and you missed January, I am moving 2 squares for each color. Mine is purple or black. In that instance, then I would go ahead and do the normal, just 1 square, and only move forward 2 if I pull 2 back to back. So let's go ahead and roll and see who we get here. Shake it really good. And all right. So we got a 4, which is, of course, rabbit. So we get to choose any book. All right. Let's go ahead and see. Shake it up a little bit and see what first color we get. Go with this one. Okay. I know it's kind of dark in here, but that's blue. Sorry for the issues. The light was glaring and now it's like shadowy, but this is blue. So that's a sci-fi. And for the honey jar prompt, so we need a sci-fi that fits the prompt of, sorry, I had to move you guys and I'm all like messed up now. Let's do this one. Okay. So it's owl and it says when you need info. All right, I went ahead and moved rabbit because I forgot to. So there to there's 2. And let's go ahead and get our next pull. Let's see this one. Okay, and that is a green. Again, sorry you can't really see. The lighting's horrible. So green is fantasy. And we go 1, 2. So we need a fantasy which fits the prompt of, let's do this one. Okay, this is a fun one. It's a bookworm and it's dictionary word of the day, so I'll look up what that is and we'll pick something based on that. Alright, next poll. See here. Go on this one. So we have another blue. Again, I know you can't really see that. So that's 1 and 2. So another sci-fi. Don't really have that many sci-fi, so I'm not loving that I'm getting so many of those. But let's go ahead and see. So sci-fi that, okay. Sci-fi with a Spanish rep. So we'll have to see what I can find. Alright. Let's see what we get next. Stuck. Okay. So we have yellow, which is historical. So, see here. We go 1, 2. And we need a historical, which fits the prompt of, let's do this one. Okay, nice. So a historical that fits the prompt of the 5 W's. Who, where, when, what. Who, where, when, what, and why. Sorry. All right. See our next one here. Go ahead and do this one. So another yellow. I know it's back to back, but because of our new rules, it doesn't matter. So we'll go 1 and 2. That was a big move. And let's see here. Almost forgot to pull the prompt. So we need another historical that fits the prompt of Anti-Prince Charming. All right, let's see here. This one. Okay, so this is a purple. Again, I know you can't really see it. So that's any genre. And that gets us really close to the end. So any genre, but it needs to fulfill the prompt of, let's do this one. Okay, so it just needs to be family centered. Alright. So close to end. So if we get a red, a blue, or a black, we're done. Orange, we move forward. Anything else just goes off to the side. So let's go ahead and see what we get here. And we got a red. So that means 1, 2. We reached the North Pole. So normally red's romance, because it's the North Pole, it can be any genre. It just needs to fulfill the prompt of, let's see here, this one. Okay. Recommended by favorite author. So I'll have to look up and see what books they recommend. And that is it for this round. I'm going to go pick my books and I will be right back. Alright, I have the books. So I was able to get all but 2 books that I wanted to, 3 books that I wanted to on the TBR. 2 of them are going to be extras because per my goals this year, I need to get them read. One of them I'm just going to put back on the shelf. I was really hoping I could get The Return of the King by J.R.R. Tolkien on there, but I wasn't able to fit it on, and with the extras I do have and the books I do have, it's just going to go back on the shelf for now, and hopefully I'll get to it soon. So there's that. And then, as I already talked about, for my Genre-a-thon, I'm going to be reading Bittersweet by Vince Kelly, which is for poetry collection. Then, let's see here. We pulled Rabbit! Yay! Which is a free choice. Always love that. I had several options I could go with after I picked all my books. I decided to go with a ABC title challenge book, just because I would rather have it officially on my TBR and not as an extra opposed to the other option. And so I went with Dorothy Must Die by Danielle Paige. So this is obviously for my D title. And it says, I didn't ask for any of this. I didn't ask to be some kind of hero. But when your whole life gets swept up by a tornado, taking you with it, you have no choice but to go along, you know? Sure, I've read the books, I've seen the movies, but I never expected Oz to look like this. A place where good witches can't be trusted and wicked witches just might be the good guys. A place where even the road of yellow brick is crumbling. What happened? Dorothy. My name is Amy Gum. I'm the other girl from Kansas. I've been recruited by the Revolutionary Order of the Wicked, and I've been given a mission. Remove the Tin Woodman's heart, steal the Scarecrow's brain, take the lion's courage, and then Dorothy must die. So that is what I chose for my free pick. Pretty excited about it as well. Then let's see here for 2. I did pull a blue. I know you couldn't see that during the gameplay, but I did pull blue. And we got Owl, which is When You Need Info. And for this one, I decided not to go with the sci-fi route. I was really loose with the genres this round just because I'm trying to prioritize certain things this year, and the most important part of my game is the honey jar prompts. So if I have something that will work for the honey jar prompts, I don't necessarily need to do the genres. The genres are just there to kind of help me diversify my reading a little bit. But if I have something that works and it works for the honey jar prompt, that's what I go with. And so for this, I decided to do Harry Potter since he's at a school where he's learning and getting info. And so this is The Prisoner of Azkaban. It's the third one. I'm doing a reread. This is a childhood copy, so it's kind of fallen apart a little bit. But basically, you have Harry Potter, and he's the boy who lived, and he goes, gets his letter for Hogwarts, and then each year, is them throughout the school year, and different things are happening. So I'm excited to reread this one, even though it's my least favorite book and movie. I'm still pretty excited to read it and see how I feel about this one as an adult, because I know I did not like it as a kid. So there's that. Then we got a green, which this one is the dictionary word of the day. And for this one, I'll insert a screenshot. The top one that came up was Jammy. I thought about doing the next one, which was skulking, but I decided to go ahead and go with Jammy. And for this one, again, trying to just make things work. And I decided to go ahead and put Eldest by Christopher Paolini on here. This is the second book in the Inheritance Cycle series. I'll be reading the first one in January. And I didn't put this on because, like, his life is Jammy. Basically, Jammy is, like, really good. It's British kind of slang for, like, really good, like, easy. Like, oh, I got this spot that's so jammy, you know, like a good parking spot or whatever is the example they used. And so I didn't put it as Jammy because I think, you know, he has it easy or anything like that. I put it as Jammy because I think it's going to be an easy read, based on what I've seen from others who have read it. It's really easy, even though they're thick, chunky books, they're really easy to read. So that's why I used that for that prompt. Then we got another blue, so another sci-fi. Again, not worrying about that. And I decided, I pulled rather Incanto, which is Spanish rep. So for this one, again, trying to find a sci-fi that I don't have a lot of with a Spanish rep was going to be hard. I did find kind of a fantasy though. And I chose Echo by Pam Munoz Ryan. And this is another book for my ABC title challenge. This is obviously for E. And yeah, I've read one other book from this author and I'm excited to read this one. It sounds really interesting. It kind of has like a World War II aspect. But it says, lost and alone in a forbidden forest, Otto meets three mysterious sisters and suddenly finds himself entwined in a puzzling quest involving a prophecy, a promise, and a harmonica. Decades later, Frederick in Germany, Mike in Pennsylvania, and Ivy in California each in turn become interwoven when the very same harmonica lands in their lives. All the children face daunting challenges, rescuing a father, protecting a brother, holding a family together. And ultimately, pulled by the invisible thread of destiny, their suspenseful solo stories converge in an orchestral crescendo. So, yeah, that's what I'll be reading for that prompt. Then we got a yellow, which is historical. And for this one, we got a bookworm, which is the 5 W's. I was missing a W when I said it, but who, where, when, what, and why. I had this prompt before and I used this book for this prompt before. I had some other options, but this one's just so perfect. I decided to go with it. And I didn't have any other nonfiction um, on here other than maybe the poetry book. So I'm going to go with Alex Trebek. The answer is because, of course, Jeopardy, who is or what is. And so it's just perfect for this prompt. And I really did want to read this. I'm really interested in it. And it does fit history because it's about him. So, and so it says, longtime Jeopardy host and television icon Alex Trebek reflects on his life and career. Since debuting as the host of Jeopardy in 1984, Alex Trebek has been something like a family member to millions of television viewers, bringing entertainment and education into their homes 5 nights a week. In 2019, he made the stunning announcement that he'd been diagnosed with stage 4 pancreatic cancer. What followed was an incredible outpouring of love and kindness. Social media was flooded with messages of support, and the Jeopardy studio received boxes of cards and letters offering guidance, encouragement, and prayers. For more than 3 decades, Trebek has resisted countless appeals to write a book about his life, yet he was moved so much by all the goodwill he felt compelled to finally share his story. I want people to know a little more about the person they have been cheering on for the past year, he writes. The book combines illuminating personal anecdotes with Trebek's thoughts on a range of topics, including marriage, parenthood, education, success, spirituality, and philanthropy. Trebek also addresses the questions he gets asked most often by Jeopardy fans, such as what prompted him to shave his signature mustache, his insights on legendary players like Ken Jennings and James Holzer, and his opinion of Will Ferrell's Saturday Night Live impressions. The book uses a novel structure inspired by Jeopardy and features dozens of never-before-seen photos that candidly capture Trebek over the years. This wise, charming, and inspiring book is further evidence of why Trebek has long been considered one of the most beloved and respected figures in entertainment. So, I'm excited to read that one. Then, let's see here. We got another yellow, And since we already moved double per the new rules, it didn't matter that it was back to back. And this one, we got Rapunzel, which is anti-Prince Charming. And so for this one, I didn't really go the historical route. I'm not really sure, like, because it's fantasy, like, maybe it's kind of historical. But I'm going to go with The Ashes and the Star-Cursed King by Carissa Broadbent, because definitely anti-Prince Charming. Especially in the first one, you have Araya and Rain, and she is the adopted daughter of like a vampire king essentially, and there's the Kajari, and basically it's like Hunger Games to the death, and whoever wins it gets a wish granted from Nyaxia. And so Rain is a vampire from like a different kind of faction of vampires than what her father rules, and so they kind of develop a thing, and he kind of like, let's team up, but she's like, I don't need you, even though she does. And then things happen, and this is following the aftermath of that. So I'm really excited. I really, really enjoy Carissa Broadbent's writing. I've been loving it. This will come up later, but definitely a current favorite author for sure. So that's the one I chose for that. Then, see here, we got a purple. And for this one, this is the Three Bears from Goldilocks. So this is family centered. It needs to be something that's family centered. And so this any genre and family centered, I decided to go with For the Throne by Hannah Whitten, because it's following two sisters. And yeah, and the first one basically you have two sisters. The oldest one is for the throne, the second daughter is for the wolf, and there's these woods, and the second daughter gets sent to the wolf to appease him, and hopefully the community's kingdom is wishing or hoping that he'll like the offering and send back the kings. But there's more to it than that. He's actually keeping down like monsters and darkness and such. And so this is going to be, I'm assuming, following the oldest daughter, the first daughter, who is for the throne. And so there's things that happened in the first book, and now we're getting the second part, which I'm excited for. I just read the first book in December, absolutely loved it, so I was really happy I could get this one on there. Then let's see here. Then we have Red, which got us to the North Pole, and we got a bookworm, which was a book recommended by a favorite author, um, and or favored author. I don't know why I put favored instead of favorite. So originally I was looking for Nora Roberts. She doesn't really have anything on there. There was one book that I was like, maybe, but I don't have it, and I was like, I really can't afford to buy books right now, so let's see what else I can do. So I looked up Carissa Broadbent, and I scrolled through books that she read, and I found one that I have and that I actually really wanted to get on there. And so I'm going to be reading Death by Laura Thalassa, and so this is the final book in the Four Horsemen series. And I am so excited to be able to finish up the series. I've been looking forward to this. I've loved every single book. I wasn't a big fan of like the characters necessarily in the last two. I absolutely loved Pestilence, which is the first one. War wasn't a huge fan of. Famine wasn't a huge fan of. And so we'll see how I feel about Death. But all of the books have been 5 stars as far as like the writing and everything like that. So basically you have the Four Horsemen, and each book, it follows a different horseman that comes down to basically start the apocalypse. And then they end up falling in love and stop doing what they're doing. So Death is the final horseman that is coming down. So there is that, and that is it as far as the books for my game, which is fantastic. There's only 8 plus my genre-a-thon book, so that's 9 books. And then, like I said, I had 2 that, well, 3, but the one's not going on. 2 that I couldn't get on there, but I do need to read. The first one is the next one for my ABC title challenge, so that's my F title. And this is The Family Across the Street by Nicole Trope. This is short and it's like a thriller, so it should be pretty easy. Yeah, it's less than 250 pages. So it should be pretty easy to get through. So I'm not worried about adding this one on, especially with as light as my TBR is. Even though some of these are really, really chunky, but a lot of them are, for younger audience, and so they're easier to read even though they're chunky. And Carissa Broadbent, her books are chunky, but they're always super easy to read. So but this one says, everybody wants to live on Hogarth Street, the pretty tree-lined avenue with its white houses. The new family, the West, are a perfect fit. Catherine and John seem so in love, and their gorgeous 5-year-old twins race screeching around their beautiful emerald green lawn. But soon people start to notice, why don't they join backyard barbecues? Why do they brush away offers to babysit? Why, when you knock at the door, do they shut you out rather than inviting you in? Every family has secrets, and on the hottest day of the year, the truth is about to come out. As tragedy unfolds behind closed doors, the dawn chorus is split by a wail of sirens, and one by one, the families who tried so hard to welcome the West begin to realize Hogarth Street will never be the same again. If for some reason I'm not able to get to the Alex Trebek book, this is going to work for the 5Ws. So I'll actually slot this in, even though it's not a historical, because it's, the synopsis on the back with the Ys. But I'm hoping I'll get to the Alex Trebek book, and I should be able to. So there's that one. And then I'm also reading the Outlander series this year. So I really need to get to the second one in February, which is Dragonfly and Amber. I'm not too worried if I don't get to this. I'm putting it on. I would at least like to start it. Just because if I don't finish the series this year, it's not a huge deal. But I would like to keep making progress through it. So I put this one on. And basically you have Outlander, which Claire Randall, she ends up going like back in time to Scotland, and falls in love and things happen. I haven't read the first one yet, so I really don't fully know. There's a TV show that's based on it and everything like that. But yeah, I want to continue making progress through the series, so that one's going on as well. But like I said, if I even just start it, I'm happy with that, even if I don't finish it. And then, of course, we'll have our 2 rollovers potentially with Shogun and the Iliad and the Odyssey. But that is it. Not bad. I'm really enjoying these double moves. They're definitely making it a lot easier for me to have a smaller TBR, and it allows these bigger books to go on. So that's very, very helpful. Let me know what you're currently reading, if any of these books caught your eye, if you've read any of these books, your thoughts on them. I'd love to know all that down in the comments. And if you don't have anything to say, you can always just leave a rabbit emoji. I'm going to go ahead and leave you guys here. Happy reading, everyone. Bye.